Hello, it's New Age Jah here with you, and welcome back. So, the moon has entered Libra, but we're still under the full moon, guys. Now, with a full moon in Libra, I feel like I'm coming into reality a bit more clearer. Libra is the sign of balance, right? A balanced state of mind. And I can definitely say that I've been clearing tremendously and have entered today with a much more clear energy and mind frame. Last night I had a really intense dream, or I woke up from a very intense dream this morning, and it had a lot to do with being brainwashed and or being mind wiped or mind swiped. So in my dream, I was taken from a couple of individuals who so happened to be male, and they knew everything about me. They knew everything, all of the details, everyone that I've ever loved, everyone that I've ever been interested in, romantically, etc. And they took me into their car, and they're like, so you're coming with us, and this is what we know. We know this person, this person, this person. I was like, oh, okay, you know this person. But they had said one name that didn't ring a bell. And they're like, don't worry, we know all about you. And their goal was to retrain and remove a certain memory and or thought pattern that had a lot to do with my personality, with my charm and my individualism. I'm not sure how this is, adding up with today's energy or messages, but at the end of the dream, they had put me through throughout the dream, they had put me through a series of events that made me retrain the way that my thoughts naturally worked. So they were removing core memories from me so that I could behave in a different way, a more unnatural way, a way more curated to what they desired me to behave. I think social media does a lot of that. It naturally programs us to see life through only one particular lens, and it does make small adjustments. But just like anything that requires repetition and repetitive motion, when you look at the same things over and over and over again, your mind begins to discard what it thinks no longer serves you, and now exercises and reuses these synapses, or this movement of repetitive exposure, which then reprograms the mind. Now, at the end of the dream, they're like, okay, so you're all done being reprogrammed. And they asked me a question. And I answered that question, but the way that I answered that question hinted that my willpower was so strong that they didn't completely erase me. So I gave them like a little wink to let them know that they tried their hardest to retrain me and to erase core memories from me. But there was still there was a spark. My Janice's consciousness, the consciousness of who I am, that said, no. You have not defeated me, although you think you've defeated me, but there's a part of me that is able to rip out of this cage and exercise and or to put into movement and life all these parts of my brain that you think that you obliterated from me. So in the midst of this Pisces season, we've gone through a lot of mental retraining and or a clearing or a losing of memory and or haziness, which made us feel like we've lost control of ourselves. And moving into this Libra moon, there's a balanced energy here, and I'm being reminded that Janice is still at the core, but what has been removed ultimately has been good for me. But the parts of myself that I still value, the parts of me that still make me who I am, have survived. They're still here. So basically, I'm saying that if you still feel a little bit unbalanced from this Piscean energy, the Libra scale lets us know that there's still the opposite side of the coin to remind us that there's still room for the change and the nuances to be balanced. And even if there's just a small spark of life, with practice and with feeding that flame, when the Sun and Jupiter enter Aries, that flame is going to spark, and you'll realize that the consciousness, the erasing of your subconscious mind will eventually rebalance, and you will then remember who you are in complete totality. So this Libra Moon energy is kind of reminding me or setting the tone for balance to come, okay? Let's pull some cards. What did I just say? Temperance. Although this is a Sagittarius card, there's a balancing of energies here. There's a balancing. This is like a fire and water card, and she's like mixing this water memory like energy, but the sun is rising in the back. So yes, I'm right on the money in regards to creating a slow and gentle balance through alchemy and the process and of remembering who you are. Look. Another balancing card, Six of Pentacles. The balancing and remembering of who you are and the rectification of your physical reality after going through an extreme transcendence of self so that you can heal your core wounds that put you under some sort of like anesthesia that made you feel like you've forgotten who you are or that you've lost who you are, but the light or the dawn of day is still here and or is coming. And the Ace of Cups here promises us a renewal of spirit, a renewal of love, a renewal of joy. So I'm right on the money. Anything else here? The cards just back up the message that I've already had for you, and I love when they support the messages like that. Yeah, you're being rewarded for facing your fears. You're being rewarded for continuing your process of alchemizing your new reality, even though you were put in a state of disorientation. But the ultimate goal, both on your lower nature with the Six of Pentacles, which is like earth energy, and your higher nature, temperance, because it's an angel and it represents the higher realms, as well as it being a major arcana, had an ultimate plan, and what was happening was a rebalancing. So what goes up must come down, and when it comes up, you're gonna feel like amazing, right? So we have the Lover's card, which is a balancing, and the Strength card. So there's like a lot of like dual nature here. Oops, dual. Okay, this is a coming together. The Gemini Lover's card is a card of union, a card of spiritual union. And it's also Archangel Gabriel ringing the trumpets to let us know that we are now setting or embarking on a major life journey that had required us to make a major shift in path. It's like a forking of the path. It's like we are now going to go our separate ways. So what I see this is not as like two different people. I see this as the light self and the shadow self. So the light self and the shadow self had to fork on this path of discovery. So there is a separation of your lower nature and your higher nature. There is a separation of yourself. And because you've remained strong, because you've maintained your strength, your integrity, and you've allowed yourself to know who you are, remember who you are, remember the dawning of the sun, you are now coming into a greater, more stronger, more balanced sense of your being, and a more greater and balanced sense of yourself, where now your lower nature and your higher nature can come together as one, no longer in duality, no longer in fragmentation. We're still, putting the pieces together. The fog is still, there's still a lot of Piscean energy. Things are still unclear, but we've remained loyal and diligent and persistent on our path. And we are being blessed with a renewal, with a balance, and again, an integration of our higher and lower natures. So this is my message for you today. I'll talk to you soon. I'm going to head to the beach with my kids and do a little ocean full moon clearing walk, as I'm still physically actually clearing from the separation of my higher and lower bodies. And from the looks of it, you may be too, whether you're aware of it or not. So I'll talk to you soon. Later.